my name is Tiffany, and this is my channel, Who's Your Handmade. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Today's video is not the usual hashtag Friday sews, but instead a really fun collaboration. I can't wait to share with you what I've made. If that sounds interesting to you, stick around. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by today. And if you're already a friend of mine, welcome back. Thank you so much for returning. I so appreciate your friendship. Today's video is a really fun collaboration video, not the normal hashtag Friday sews video, but I'm going to be sharing a wonderful make that I finished this week. This is a surprise for my husband, Josh. But before we get into my finished make, I do want to introduce the lovely Lesley. Lesley has a wonderful sewing YouTube channel called The Sewing Circle. I met Lesley through my comments on my videos, became a wonderful friend, and then she has started her own channel, and boy, is it an amazing sewing channel. Lesley is so creative. Y'all are gonna love everything that she makes. She has a really neat sewing camper that she uses as her sewing room. It's so cool. So definitely head over to Lesley's channel next. Watch her collaboration video, see what her Shacket turned out to be. I can't wait to see it. I know it's going to be beautiful. I had a little bit of a sneak peek, and her make is absolutely amazing. So do head over to Lesley's channel. Thank you so much, Lesley, for reaching out to me and wanting to collaborate this month. This was a great collaboration for me because I needed to get this done. This was some required sewing. I wanted to make Josh this Shacket for Christmas, and it was just perfect that Lesley wanted to collaborate and do this together, forced me to get it done here in the month of November. Another Christmas present marked off the list. That's just perfect. So let's talk about this pattern. This is my all-time favorite Shacket pattern. And if you stick around until the end of the video, it will be worth your time if you're interested in getting a copy of this pattern for yourself. Hint, hint, stick around. So this is Simplicity 9388. This is by far and above my favorite Shacket pattern. I've made several Shackets actually. Just made a couple for Addie and myself in the early fall time. Used a peekaboo patterns. That was a great Shacket pattern. Nothing against that pattern, but this one just takes the cake. And it is easily accessible. It's a big 4 pattern, still in the pattern book. And in those Joann's pattern drawers, you can still access it right now on the website as well. A great pattern. So this is a unisex pattern that comes in sizes extra small all the way to extra large. You can see I've got all kinds of scribbles on mine. This is my marked up copy. I definitely use this copy the most. I have made my husband the size extra large, and I've done a few adjustments. But first, let's look at this pattern. You do have the same Shacket in 3 different lengths. I have made view B there for my husband, but you could also do a cropped version or a long, more like a duster version. That's kind of the version that she has on there. With this being a unisex pattern, you do want to be careful if you're making this for a woman as opposed to a man. I'm going to actually insert a picture of this Shacket size extra large on myself. I want to give you a look of what it looks like on the body type that I have. According to the finished garment measurements, I should probably be making more like a large or an extra large. So you can kind of see how oversized the largest size of this one is. It'll fit my husband good. He's got big, broad shoulders. I did not make any adjustments to the arms, to the shoulders. I did do an adjustment to the belly, which I'm going to talk about in just a second, but it still gives you a picture of how oversized the extra large is on my body frame. Like I said, a great pattern. Highly recommend this one. There are several pattern pieces like there are with most jacket patterns, but it goes together so well. The instructions are excellent in this pattern. You will have no trouble with any of them. I've wrote down a few tips that I'm going to give you. Before we get into those tips, let me show you a little bit more of my make. For Josh's Shacket, I have used some leftover flannel fabric that I had purchased for the Shackets that I made for Addie and I. Over 3 yards of fabric left, and I have used it all. So it was a good thing that I had so much. I've lined it with some green fabric. I'll show you on the back here of the collar. That green right there is the lining for the yoke pieces. You have lined yokes on the front and the back. So you see this one here is lined, as well as lining here on the front yoke. The rest of the jacket is unlined, which is kind of nice for a man. Sometimes they overheat, they get a little bit too hot in too thick of a jacket. So this one's gonna be just perfect for Josh. Not gonna overheat. And overall, the make went together really, really well. Let me talk about the adjustments that I've made. Like I said, I made a size extra, extra large, but I've also made one for Josh previously, and it was a little bit tight across the belly region. So I looked up the full belly adjustment. I'm gonna link the one that I used down below, a great tutorial. Definitely refer to that if you ever need a adjustment like this. It's fairly easy, especially on a big 4 pattern. You have your grain line clearly defined on big 4 patterns, very easy to use. And I added an inch on both sides of the front. So you do your full belly adjustment on your front pattern piece, and I've done an inch here. And what that's done is give me an overall 2 inches of extra width there in the belly region, and I think that's gonna work out really well for the hubby. This is what the full belly adjustment looks like on my pattern piece. Like I said, very easy to do. I'm really glad that I looked up that adjustment, and it turned out great, and I think it's gonna make a world of difference for Josh in the belly region to get those button plackets to meet and comfortably close. A couple other adjustments that I used throughout this pattern is to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance where I could. I just wanted to give him just a little bit more room in all the seams that I could. So on the sleeves, I used a 1/4 inch. On the side seams, I used a 1/4 inch. Anywhere that I could comfortably do that, I did swap out for the 1/4 inch seam as opposed to the usual 5/8 seam allowance. Now in doing those few adjustments, the full belly adjustment and using a different seam allowance, the garment itself grew a little. So this is my caution to you. Make sure that you are using a placket piece that is long enough. And by placket, I mean this button placket right here. It goes down the entire front. So you wanna make sure that if you're adding length to your jacket via a smaller seam allowance or a full belly adjustment does add a little bit more length to the front as well, make sure you're compensating and taking care of your placket as well. So what I ended up doing was adding 2 inches to my button placket. It's okay if it hangs off on the top and the bottom. You can always trim away, but it's very, very hard to add in length. So always go a little bit longer on that placket. And the other thing that I had done that created a little bit more length was I used a slightly smaller hem than what was called for. I did a 5/8 hem instead of an inch hem for Josh's jacket, just to give him a little bit extra length. Not much, but just a little bit there at the bottom. Again, that impacted my placket, so I was making sure to make up for that when I was redrafting my placket. Overall, such a fun make. I'm so pleased with how it turned out. It's not perfect, but I'm so excited to gift it to my husband. He's gonna love it. So let me get into those tips. That first one really goes along with the placket. I've talked about that probably enough. Make sure you're making your placket plenty long. Will be kind of frustrating to have to go back and do that again if you've attached a too short of a placket on there. But a couple more tips that I wanted to talk to you about was, again, using this Steam-A-Seam 2, the Steam-A-Seam Light. I love this stuff. I used it to attach the pockets. There were no pins needed at all when I was sewing on my pockets, and they are so straight and perfect. This stuff is so inexpensive. You can buy it on Amazon. I will link it down below. I will also link my video on how I show you how I use this. I walk you through a project using it. Y'all, just get some. Put it on your Christmas list if you don't want to pay the $9 or whatever it is on Amazon right now. It is worth the money. I promise you, it is so good. I would also use it for finishing the placket and finishing these cuffs. You enclose the seam when you do that. And using this as well on that is so useful. Definitely saves you a lot of time. It really gives a really precise and professional finish to your make. So definitely give this stuff a try. And then the last tip that I have for the Shacket is one that might be more applicable to you if you are giving this as a gift. I am gonna wrap this up and give this to my husband on Christmas. So what I've done is stick a pin in this cuff here. I'm showing you the arm cuff here. I've just pinned it. I have not sewn on the button yet. And that's because sometimes our wrists are different sizes. Sometimes that pattern piece that they give you where they tell you to put the button is not comfortable for whoever you're gifting the Shacket to. So you could just take that button along at Christmas, take you some thread. It takes 2 seconds to sew a button on. And just after they open it, measure them, ask them what feels good, what they like in a jacket, and then you can sew that button on. That's what I'll be doing on Christmas. And that is my make. Like I said, I'm so pleased with it. I'm so happy with it. And I really want to spread the happiness of this pattern. I have an extra one in my stash and I'm going to give it away. So if you are interested in getting a free copy of this pattern from me, no matter where you live, any country, I will send it. It's small. Use the word sew, S-E-W, somewhere in your comment down below. Don't worry about capitalization or whatnot. I will be personally checking every single comment for the word sew, and I'll be writing your name down and putting you in a hat, and I will give away a copy of this amazing pattern. It's that good, y'all. Everybody needs it. So don't forget to leave the word sew in your comment if you're interested in getting a copy of this pattern. I will leave this giveaway open until Thanksgiving night at midnight, so 11:28. It will close at midnight, and then I'll announce the winner of that pattern on next #FridaySews. Again, don't forget to go check out Lesley's video. She's amazing, beautiful, so many inspiring ideas going on in that sewing camper of hers. Definitely go over and check out her Shacket video, like her video, and subscribe to her channel if you have not done so already. Don't forget to do the same to mine. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you've ever made a Shacket. I would love to know about your experience with Shackets. I've made so many of them. They fit into our lifestyle really well. I will likely be making more in the future. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.